There must be something we can do.
Well, the police and fire brigade have been called. We better leave it to them.
They've all been locked in their cells.
We're missing 2 sets of keys.
Well, you can bet they're up there.
Business was supposed to be about justice.
Hurry! They're on their way down!
It's finished. It's finished.
Make sure they're all locked in their cells until a suitable punishment's decided in the morning. Hope you're satisfied with yourself, Grant. You're the ringleader of this little escapade. You might as well have pushed Burke over that roof with your own 2 hands. Bitch!
Can I get you anything?
No, really, I'm all right. Oh, what a stupid, pointless death.
Listen, don't go blaming yourself. You're not responsible for what happened.
I am responsible for everything that occurs in this prison.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
The Avarice has arrived.
I've left my man to take care of the details, Mrs. Davidson.
Oh, thank you.
Well, those newspaper men are still hanging around. Should we get rid of them?
Well, it's up to you, but I'll give them a statement myself, just to the effect that the girl's death was an accident.
Thank you, but I would like to speak to them myself also.
Do you think that's wise?
It might stop some of the sensational guesswork.
Yeah, maybe.
If they are prepared to send in one representative, I'll talk to him in my office when I can. I have some other matters to deal with first.
I'll let them know. Oh, there's just one other thing.
Yes.
The deceased's next of kin.
Oh, yes, her mother, Nolene.
If it'd make it any easier for you, I'll notify her if you like.
Oh, I would be extremely grateful, thank you. Not that I expect any more trouble, but I think it would be better if we kept the security gates locked tonight and served the evening meal in the cells.
Right.
I'll speak to the women in the morning.
It's like pinching off kids.
Mrs. Burke?
Bugger.
Ah, there you are. Everything all right, Mrs. Burke?
No worries, sir. Do you want something?
I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm afraid you'll want it up in the front office. It's very urgent.
Goodbye.
Just leave your trolley here. Come along with me.
Well, what is it? What's going on? Who wants to sit? It's a bloody copper, isn't it? Oh, I knew it. I can smell them.
Mrs. Nolene Burke,
I ain't done nothing.
it's about your daughter, Mrs. Burke.
Leanne, stupid little bitch. Anyway, you're too late. She's already inside.
I've got some bad news for you, Mrs. Burke.
Eh?
I'm sorry, she's had an accident.
What?
I'm afraid she was killed.
No,
She
she's...
fell from the prison roof. I'm afraid she's dead.
No. Not her! No.
There you are, Mrs. Burke. Do you feel a little better now?
I've never seen anything like that.
It takes people different ways.
Can I have a word with you for a moment?
Certainly.
I didn't realize she was a criminal.
Ex-criminal.
Yes,
Something on your mind?
well, look, I feel terrible about this, but I had some complaints from members of the staff. Sums of money missing, you know.
God, you certainly know how to pick your moment.
I don't like it any more than you do, but it's been going on since she started here. And when I went to look for her, she was furtive. I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Would you excuse me a minute, please? Mrs. Burke. Nolene. Where'd you get this, Nolene? $100 is a lot of money for a tea lady, isn't it? I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to accompany me to the station.
You bastard!
That's exactly what the police said, Mrs. Davidson. Are you sure there's nothing else?
Quite sure. She was young and excitable. Apparently, she just became a little carried away.
A little?
Her death was the result of her own actions, Mr. Hardy. It was an accident.
Okay. What about the riot itself?
I think riot is a little too strong a word under the circumstances.
You were held captive, Mrs. Davidson. To me, that's a riot. What happened?
I think it was more like a demonstration.
Have it your way. A demonstration about what? The banners said injustice.
One of the prisoners was found last week at the foot of the stairs. There was a departmental inquiry.
Another accident?
The inmates felt that the girl had been murdered by one of the prison's officers. They wanted the officer charged.
What about some names, Mrs. Davidson?
No, I'm afraid not. The officer in question has since been suspended, and there is absolutely no evidence to suggest he was involved in her death in any way. The prisoner's name was Sharon Gilmore.
Was it a male officer?
Yes.
I see.
Even if I had believed the prisoners, I'm afraid my hands were tied.
Do you believe them?
There was no evidence, so no, I do not.
Thank you, Mrs. Davidson. You've been most helpful. By the way, I can probably find out that prison officer's name.
I'm sure you could. Good day, Mr. Hardy.
Goodbye, Mrs. Davidson.
That was pretty rough. I'm surprised you were so honest with him. He could crucify you with some of that stuff.
Well, the department might beat him to it. Anyway, the worst part is yet to come. How do we punish the prisoners without inciting a full-scale riot? Also, they are very much on edge over the death of Leanne Burke. And as I said to Mr. Fletcher last night, we could find ourselves in the midst of a full-scale riot.
What was yesterday if not a full-scale riot? If you ask me, I think the punishments could have been more severe.
I think the punishments are quite severe enough.
Yes, but Bryant should be made an example of...
That is enough, Miss Bennett. I will not tolerate the victimization of any of the inmates. Understand? Shall we go?
town.
Eh?
Solitary. We'll all end up in bloody solitary, betcha.
Well, it won't be too solitary with all of us jammed in there, will it?
No, I don't suppose. But I'll lose me buy-ups, betcha.
No bet.
God, no wonder I'm always butting cigarettes. I spent more than half my time in this joint losing out on buy-ups.
Well, you should stay out of strife.
That's what I'm always telling myself. There's no justice, is there?
Oh, big mouth.
Justice? You call that justice? Jock Stewart got away with murder, and now I've murdered someone too.
Oh, don't talk rubbish.
Well, it was my fault. I was the one.
Pigs. Look, it wasn't your fault. She's a Burke. She was born stupid.
Always trouble, betcha. Shut up.
For your part in yesterday's riot, you will all lose remission of your sentences. For the next 2 weeks, you will lose all privileges. There will be 1 hour's less recreation time, which will be spent in extra duties. Lights out will be half an hour earlier. The security gates will be kept locked at all times. I repeat, all privileges. No buy-up or television. This situation will be reviewed in 2 weeks. If I feel your behavior is unsatisfactory at the end of that time, privileges will be suspended for a further fortnight. And be warned, I am prepared to continue this treatment for 12 months if necessary.
Blimey.
Yes, Lizzie?
Oh, nothing, Mrs. Davidson, nothing.
Bryant? Although it is within my power to punish you separately as ringleader, I feel you have been punished enough because your stupidity has indirectly caused the death of Leanne Burke. That is all.
The defendant is charged with the theft of $100 from her place of work over what would appear to be a very brief period of employment indeed. How pleads the defendant?
My client pleads guilty as charged, Your Honour. But I would crave the court's indulgence to plead... no, beg. Beg for leniency in this case. My client has, in the last 48 hours, lost a daughter in the most tragic and unfortunate circumstances. Ironically, it was to buy a gift for this very same child that my client stole the money in the first place. Surely it would be the most cruel, perverse, and unusual punishment to imprison us so soon after such a tragic loss.
It would appear that your client is in no fit state to proceed.
I think not, sir.
Very well. Court will be adjourned for 30 minutes to allow the defendant time to gather herself. Clerk, would you please ensure that the defendant has a seat when we resume? Thank you.
You there, Kerry? Kerry?
Who is it? Who is it? Who is
Me,
it?
Paul Reed. Can I come in?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Coming.
Hi. What the hell happened here?
Oh, bit of a turn, you know, last night.
I think we need some air in here, don't you? Are you all right?
What? Oh, yeah. Bit hungover, that's all.
Look as though you're still half drunk to me.
Yeah, well, it was a real rage, you know. I had some friends around. We let off a bit of steam.
Mm-hmm. Was David Austin amongst them?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, well, then you've still got his wallet, have you?
It's,
Where, Kerry? Where is it?
You look lay off, will you? He came and got the bloody thing.
What is the matter with you? Are you out of your mind or something? If you are seen within spitting distance of that man, you're back inside. Now, when are you going to wake up?
Well, it's not my fault. I mean, he had to come and get it, didn't he?
All right. He should never have been here in the first place. Now, look, I'm going to see David Austin and warn him to stay away from you. And if he comes to that door, don't you even answer it. No. You understand that?
Yes.
All right, just as long as you do. I'll see you shortly.
Bye.
She was lonely. I was just trying to get her settled in, that's all.
You know the conditions of her parole.
Yes, but everyone needs a bit of comfort, don't they?
You also know that any comfort she might get from you could land her back inside.
Fine, you've made yourself clear, now just get out.
I haven't quite finished yet. Now, look, Austin, I'm well aware of the fact that you are using her as a meal ticket.
Oh, come on, that's rubbish.
Is it? All right, then, you just keep this in mind. If she goes back inside, how shall I put this?
I have no idea, but would you just get on with it?
If she goes back inside, I think you'll agree that she'll have little chance of becoming a commercial success. Good day, Mr. Austin. Oh, by the way, I haven't said anything about this breach of parole. But if you go anywhere near her again, I swear to you, I will report it.
Austin, what the hell is going on?
What do you mean?
I mean, what's this so-called artist of yours doing?
Kerry Vincent? Well, as far as I know, she's painting your paintings.
Oh, is she? I've tried to phone her studio half a dozen times. I would like to have a look at their progress sometime.
Yes.
I mean, she's never answered once.
No, well, you know, she's probably flat out, you know what these artists are?
Yes, but we're talking about Vincent, not artists. I mean, once people forget the fuss the press made over her, that garbage she paints won't be worth a cracker. Now, I want those paintings, Austin.
Okay, they'll be ready, believe me. They'll be ready.
They better be.
Stupid, lazy little bitch.
Well, get moving. You're on extra duties. That means work, not standing around. You can go faster than that, can't you, Bryant? But be careful. We wouldn't want any accidents, would we? Especially not premeditated ones. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes if Nolene Burke finds...
Miss Bennett, come with me, please. I don't give a damn what you think. I gave a distinct order the women were not to be harassed or intimidated.
She was the ringleader. You said so yourself. She deserves at least a month in solitary.
Miss Bennett, my decision is final. The punishments are quite adequate.
Oh, adequate?
One more word and I'll report you for insubordination. I have had enough.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson.
Now get back to your work. Yes? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher. No, it's nothing. What's the trouble? A government official? No, we're short-staffed. I shall come to reception and see him there. Thank you.
She shouldn't keep you long. Mr. Walsh, this is our governor, Mrs. Davidson.
How do you do?
Good afternoon. Mrs. Davidson, I understand you're a bit short-handed, so I won't keep you long.
Oh, that's quite all right, Mr. Walsh.
I'm here about the Birdsworth case.
The Birdsworth case?
Yes, a wrongful imprisonment.
Oh, yes, of course, forgive me. We've been under a little bit of pressure the last few days.
So I believe. Well, to put it simply, we are prepared to offer Mrs. Birdsworth $40,000 compensation, provided she's prepared to settle the matter out of court.
I see.
Now, I have here a document. Mrs. Birdsworth should read it carefully. Now, anything she doesn't understand must be explained to her. When she does understand it, she can then discuss the matter with me.
You don't want to see her now?
Oh, I don't think that'll be necessary. Besides, from what I've heard of her, I'll probably only confuse her with legal jargon.
Conversely, she might confuse you with her prison jargon, Mr. Walsh.
Yes, I dare say. Well, will that be all right?
Yes, of course. I'll see that she gets it.
Thank you. Just call me when you need me. Good day.
Goodbye.
$40,000, eh? Doesn't seem much for all those years in here. I wonder if she'll accept it.
I would accept 40 cents if it would guarantee I'd never see this place again.
Who is it?
David, it's me, David.
Coming. Hello. I shouldn't open the door to you. David, I'm so pleased to see you. I've been so lonely.
Come on, let's just get you inside. How much of that stuff have you socked away today?
What? Only a couple of bottles.
Yes, I can well believe it.
Oh, you better. You better. Oh, come on. Oh, David, don't be mad at me. Just love me, please.
Kerry, you just have to get on with your work.
Why?
Because
I'm sick of it.
Now, listen, you're brilliant and you're talented and you mustn't waste that sort of talent on the booze.
And I mustn't open the door to David Austin.
Kerry, I love you. But because I do, I know the only thing that makes you happy is your work. Now, I don't want the woman I love not to be happy, you understand?
Oh, David, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and so are you, but you are just a teeny weeny little bit drunk, aren't you?
Oh, me?
Yeah. So, let's just get you into the shower, shall we? And back to work. Come on.
Okay.
Unless I miss my guess, Mrs. Burke, I think he's going to let you off.
Well, I think we have a pretty straightforward summation here, as the defendant has in fact entered a plea of guilty. Ordinarily, I would have no hesitation in sentencing you to a 6-month non-parole period of imprisonment. But considering the circumstances of your recent tragedy, I am prepared to be lenient at this time. Clerk, are there any previous convictions? Good Lord. Well, while all here are no doubt utterly sympathetic to your recent loss, and while I agree with counsel for the defense that any punishment at this time would seem both cruel and perverse, I'm afraid your record leaves me absolutely no choice in the matter. 6 months imprisonment.
Oh, stroke!
Oh, why don't you watch where you're going? Now, come on, you two, cut it out. I want my privileges back as soon as possible. That means everyone behaves. Got it? Come on, pick it up. Where did you get that?
Hi.
The fag. Come on, give us a drag. Listen, remember, no buyout privileges for a fortnight. So take care of your fags, otherwise you'll run out.
Come for the kitchen linen.
Oh, poor little Josie. Now, come on. That's enough of that. Why don't you give Judy a hand folding the linen and stop worrying?
I can't help it. She's my own flesh and blood, and I haven't heard for weeks.
That's because there's nothing to hear. They'll tell you if anything happens.
We've lost our privileges, remember?
Oh, they'll still tell you.
Maybe.
Of course they will. Oh, now, come on. The next couple of weeks is going to be hard enough without you two moping about the place looking like...
Lizzie, come with me, please.
Great. I told you, didn't I? I told you. Bad news. It's Josie, isn't it, Mrs. J? She's sick.
Now, don't be silly, Lizzie. It's nothing of the kind.
What then?
Well, Paul Reed wants to see you. Now, come on. Well, don't just stand there. Get back to work.
Come in. Oh, come in, Lizzie. Sit down. Well, how are you?
Not bad, I suppose.
Good, good.
Excuse me, Paul, you'll have to get an officer to take Lizzie back. Don't forget the security gates are locked.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, mate. Well, now, Lizzie.
It's about Josie, isn't it?
No, it isn't. Why?
Well, she's very sick, and I haven't heard anything. I'm real worried. Have you heard anything, Mr. Reed?
No, I haven't, Lizzie.
I'm not allowed to have any visitors. What if things got worse?
Look, if Marcia does call, I'll pass the information on straight away, I promise. Okay, now why don't you help yourself to a cigarette and we'll get down to business. The government have made you an offer of compensation.
Aye?
$40,000.
40,000?
Of course, you realise that is provided that the matter is settled out of court. Now, they've left this document here for you. It pretty well explains the whole situation, but basically the gist of the proposal is that they'll give you $40,000 provided it doesn't go to court.
Oh. And what will they offer if I do take him to court?
Well, this document doesn't specify any figures, but you must realise that people only settle out of court if it's cheaper for them.
Yeah. But what do you reckon?
It's difficult to say, but at a guess, I'd say double that, perhaps more.
Strength!
Of course, there is one problem with going to court. It could take a long time, anything up to 2 years.
Yeah. Hard, isn't it? I haven't got much time, but I have got a family.
Lizzie, I don't quite know how to put this.
What?
Are you absolutely certain that Josie and Marcia are your family?
Do you think I don't know my own bloody daughter?
Lizzie...
Of course they're my family. Of course they're my bloody family.
I'm sorry I mentioned it.
So you ought to be.
Yeah. Well, look, Lizzie, you take this document and read it carefully and then get back to me. If you have any problems, please don't hesitate, all right?
Yeah.
I'll call somebody to take you back. Oh.
Ah, just making some coffee. Want some?
Yes, please.
Finished with Lizzie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah, well, I think I managed to offend Lizzie, so I got it over and done with as quickly as possible.
Offend Lizzie? How on earth could anyone offend Lizzie?
But listen, you know about this government compensation business?
Yes, a bit. Why?
It's an awful lot of money.
Well, so it should be. She's entitled to it.
I'm not disputing that. But I was talking to Kevin the other day.
Doreen's Kevin?
Yeah. He drove Marcia and Josie up to the country to collect their things, and naturally enough, they got to talking, and...
And what?
Well, from some of the things they said, he got the impression that Marcia is not Lizzie's daughter.
You're joking. No wonder she was upset. Well, surely you don't think it's true.
I'm damned if I know, but it is a possibility.
Well, what are we going to do?
I'm damned if I know that either.
Meg Jackson.
Meg, Nolene Burke is in reception. She's come in as a prisoner.
Oh, dear.
Would you put her through the admission procedure and then bring her to my office?
Yes, of course.
Problems?
Leanne Burke's mother, Nolene, has just arrived at reception as a prisoner.
Well, is that as bad as it sounds?
Paul, without trying too hard, Nolene could turn this place into a hornet's nest.
Make sure you take better care of them than you did of me daughter.
Burke?
Well. No welcome back committee, eh, Mrs. Jackson?
Come over here. Your right hand.
Same fingers I had the last half dozen times you'd done them.
I don't doubt it, but it's regulations.
Got to have laws, don't we? Like the law that looked after me kid. How is B. Smith?
Left hand.
I should be getting buy-up tomorrow, shouldn't I?
Yes, but I'd keep it quiet. Some of the women have lost their buy-up privileges for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Is everything in order? Fine. Well, I'll take her to Mrs. Davidson's now.
Eh?
The governor wants to see you in her office before you go to your cell.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Come with me.
Hello, Nolene. Would you like to sit down?
Depends how long you're going to be.
I wanted to offer my condolences.
Yeah.
Nolene, I really am extremely sorry, believe me.
Well, it's not your fault. You couldn't even run a fish and chip shop.
Considering the circumstances and the fact that you are obviously distressed, I shall overlook that.
You're just covering up for B. Smith, aren't you?
Leanne's death was accidental.
Oh, yeah. Same way all them coppers accidentally shot my brother.
Leanne fell. Accidentally. The women who instigated the outburst have been severely disciplined. Any attempt by you at revenge will land you straight into solitary confinement.
That'd really break me heart, you know. Can I go?
Yes.
I'm really dying to see all me mates.
All right, Nolene?
Yeah, true it.
I'll leave you to it then.
I'm extremely sorry, Nolene. Stuart, stay up, bitch, what would you know? Hey, you. You're new around here, aren't you?
Oh, sort of. Been here a while, though.
Nolene Burke. I drop in every now and then. What's the matter?
Nothing. I'm Judy Bryant.
How you going, Jude? Good. No one asked you something. Fat Guts, B. Smith. She's still in the laundry?
Yeah.
Did you know Leanne? She was my kid, a little girl.
I know.
I'm going to kill that fat bitch for what she done to her.
Nolene, please.
You a friend of hers, are you?
Look, it was me.
What?
It was me, you see.
Huh?
I know I'll never be able to make it up to you, Nolene. I'm really sorry, but it was my idea to have that riot on the roof. I didn't mean it.
Stinking bitch, I'll kill you, you stupid stinker. Nice meeting you, Jude. See you around.
Excuse me. Could I see Mrs. Birdsworth, please? It's urgent.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Huntley.
Oh, Mr. Reed, I've got to see Lizzie,
Hello, Josie.
please.
How are you?
Not bad.
You sure? You don't look too good to me.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Please, Mr. Reed.
Well, I'm afraid that could be a bit difficult. All the women are on loss of privileges at the moment.
Oh, what does that mean?
Well, it means that all of them, including Lizzie, can't have any visitors for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks? God, I can't wait 2 weeks. I've got to see her now.
All right. There's no need to panic. I'll see what I can do. And you, cheer up, huh? Better sign the book while you're here. Could you bring Lizzie Birdsworth to my office for me, please? It's all right. I'll clear it with Mrs. Davidson. All right, Josie, come on. Let's go and see your gran.
Oh, nice. I come as soon as I could. Josie, love? Oh, sweetheart. You've been crying. Oh, come on, Josie, love. Everything's gonna be all right. Come on, give us a smile. What's a pretty girl like you been crying for?
I've got a pain.
Oh, come on, love. You got a hanky?
Lizzie.
What's going on?
Oh, she got a bad leg.
How do you mean?
Well, she broke it when she was 8, and they just never set it properly. Oh, and sometimes the pain gets so bad. And she's missed such a lot of school, and she can't play sport or anything.
Well, if it's just a broken leg, surely they can do something.
Oh, yeah, they can fix it.
How?
Well, I'd have to re-break it and set it again. Yeah, I know. That's what scares Josie, too. Thought of going through all that pain again.
Doesn't seem fair, does it? But surely there's some way we can do something.
Oh, yes. Yes, we can do something. Yes, he would need specialists for a start. And then there's a long stay in hospital and physio. Oh, months and months of physio. Oh, I just don't see how we can do it.
Seems to me we got her.
Yeah, but it's going to cost so much money. And she's missed so much school already. I mean, missing so much more school.
That's no good. Can't do nothing in this world without an education.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why I was thinking that maybe we could try her staying at home, and perhaps we could get a special school teacher, you know, so that she wouldn't miss out on her schoolwork, and of course we'd have to have a full-time nurse.
It's going to cost a bit.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. I mean, oh, what can we do?
How much do you reckon? The full box and dice?
Thousands, Mum. 9, maybe even 10.
Feeling better now, love? Well, I gotta go now. I gotta go and think how to dig up a gold mine. Now, you be a good girl. You don't want to grow up a silly old thing like your old gran now, do you, eh? No. Don't you worry. We'll think of something that's gonna cost a lot of money, but don't you worry. You just look after yourselves, all right?
Well, come on, Jess. We better get going.
Do you think she can?
I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, we'll see. Come on. Oh, well, thanks a lot, Mr. Reed.
My pleasure, Mrs. Hunter.
Yeah, well, I suppose all that sounds fair enough. How much is it going to cost?
Eh?
The operation, how much is it going to cost?
Well, Marcia reckons about $10,000.
10 grand?
To break your leg?
Gee, it doesn't say much for Medibank, does it?
Oh, well, it's not just the op, you know. It's for the teacher and all those other things.
That's a bloody fortune.
Oh, well, she's got to have a fair go, poor kid. I wanted to grow up with a normal life. Not like Marcia, who never had a fair go.
One good thing about extra work duty.
Eh?
Keeps your mind off other things.
Listen, you know how Kevin said Marcia wasn't Lizzie's real daughter?
There's no real proof. It's just a feeling he had, that's all.
Yeah, but Lizzie said the kid broke her leg when she was 8,
Yes.
right? That means Marcia's known about it for 6 years.
So?
Well, how come just when Lizzie's due for all this compo, they get in touch with her out of the blue?
Well, they didn't just get in touch with her out of the blue. The Salvos found her.
Oh, pigs. They could have found Lizzie before. Looks to me like they're after her dough. Pure and simple.
Sounds a bit like it, doesn't it? You want to tell Lizzie about it?
Doreen, Mr. Reed wants to see you.
Oh, here's Mrs. Jackson.
Doreen, I'm not asking you to lag on anybody or to break any codes. Now, I've told you what Kevin said to me. He's your husband. Now, surely he must have said something to you about it.
Yeah?
But what did he say?
Exactly what he told you.
Nothing else?
No.
But what do you think?
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Reed, honest.
Well, has Lizzie said anything to you?
Like what?
Well, like that she might doubt that Marcia's her daughter.
No, nothing like that.
Now, look, Doreen, if she has said anything, would you please tell me? I don't want to see her being taken for a ride. I'm as sympathetic towards Josie as anybody.
Not as much as Lizzie is.
How do you mean?
Oh, well, I reckon... I don't know, Mr. Reed. I reckon that Lizzie really loves her, you know?
Yeah, well, I think she does. I'm just not sure, that's all.
Well, what are you going to do?
There's nothing much I can do, unless some concrete evidence turns up. I don't want to hurt Lizzie if I can help it, especially without evidence.
Well, even then she'd be pretty upset, I reckon. And what about her money? You know she's thinking of giving it all to them.
I was afraid she might. And if she does that, I'm going to have to tell her. We can't have her going into a thing like this with her eyes closed, can we?
Oh, she had to go and see Mr. Reed.
I hear little fatso went and got herself married.
Oh, Nolene, when did you get here?
Who got her up the duff? I always thought she was a bit the other way.
That is my bed.
Yeah.
Get off it.
Yeah, what about you, you dried up old hag? You still sucking up to Her Majesty? You must feel a real galah, eh? All them years in prison and you're not even a real true blue crim.
Oh, shut up, Nolene. Ain't got other things on my mind.
Oh, that's a laugh. Since when did you have a mind? All them years and you never even done nothing.
Get out of here.
Where did you get that at? We're not allowed buy-ups.
Yeah, I know. And I know why, too.
Now, look, we're sorry about Leanne, the whole joint is. But don't go pushing your luck, because it doesn't make us feel any better about you. And if you start throwing your weight around, God help me, I'll thump you.
You touch her and you'll have to answer to me. Yeah, I mean it, B. Now, we've heard that woman enough.
See you around, girls.
Boon to our business, darling, would be to be paddling about on the Gold Coast and suddenly come across a modern-day Gauguin.
Yes, well, even a Donald friend would do, eh?
I suppose. But I'd prefer a sensual European.
Excuse me, Mandy.
Mandy. Of course, darling, but only for a moment.
Hello?
Hello, David. It's Kerry. I've finished it.
Oh, Kerry, that's wonderful.
Yeah, well, I think it's good.
Look, that's terrific, darling. That's absolutely terrific. Now, keep up the good work, won't you?
You know, wouldn't you like to come and see it?
Well, yes, I'd love to, but I'm tied up at the moment. I'm in conference with a client, a buyer. And besides, anyway, you know the rules.
Very mysterious, darling.
Who was that?
I told you I'm in conference with a client.
Yeah, well, you know, when can you come and see it?
Moment's up, darling.
David?
Kerry, look, I'll be in touch soon, okay?
You...
And I can't help feeling, Lizzie, that you're being a little hasty about this.
No, I've thought the whole thing through, and I reckon it's better all round.
You do realize that if you let it go through the courts, you could finish up with double that amount?
Yeah, I know. I read that thing you gave me. But I reckon it's too long.
Well, it shouldn't be more than a couple of years. That's not a long time.
Well, it is at my age. I could shuffle off tomorrow. I want that dough now.
Lizzie, why is this suddenly so urgent?
You saw Josie before. She's real crook, poor little mite. She's got to have that operation, Mr. Reed. She can't wait. She's got to have it now. You do see what I mean, don't you?
Oh, yes, I suppose it has a certain flair, you know, but, well, you see, it's not really me, darling.
Oh, I'm fine.
And what would you reckon you were, darling?
I beg your pardon.
I mean, apart from being all dressed up for a screw.
David!
Kerry, there's no call for this.
You got the hots? You got the hots for him, haven't you?
David, I'm afraid I'll have to go.
I mean, I don't know a lot about great art, darling, but I do know all about sex. And you've got the hots for him, haven't you?
What the hell do you think you're up to?
I just wanted to show you my painting.
Now, listen, that woman is a very influential buyer. She's worth a fortune to me.
Then sell her this.
Finished, is it?
What do you mean?
Well, if it is, it shows definite signs of instability. I don't think that she would be interested in buying rubbish like this. If that's the best you and the grog can come up with, I suggest you throw it back in the gutter where you both came from. Now, that woman you just insulted. With her money, she's worth 100 of you bloody artists. Kerry, when are you going to wake up to yourself? How can you be so stupid not to realize how important buyers like that are for your livelihood, not just your livelihood, my livelihood too, sweetheart? Why don't you get bloody wise to yourself?
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside, the roses grow. They don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.